Traoré just shocked the world again. What Kenya's police were caught doing will blow your mind. Africa is waking up, and once again, Ibrahim Traoré has shocked the world. Yes, you heard that right. Traoré, the young, fearless captain from Burkina Faso, the Lion of West Africa, has done it again. And this time, the truth comes with a twist that involves Kenya. And what the Kenyan police were caught doing will absolutely blow your mind. Before we reveal the full story, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because what you're about to hear is not being shown on mainstream media. They don't want you to know. But Africa must rise, and we must rise with truth, with unity, and with power. Now, let's begin. The African continent is changing. From the dusty streets of Ouagadougou to the vibrant energy of Nairobi, a storm is brewing, a storm of awareness, of resistance, of revolution. And at the center of this movement stands Captain Ibrahim Traoré. In a time when foreign powers still try to dictate African affairs, when resources are stolen in broad daylight, and when puppets are placed in power to serve Western interests, Traoré has stood firm like a true son of the soil, a man who refused to bow, a soldier who chose his people over power, a president who is now inspiring an entire continent. But what happened recently in Kenya is proof that the Traoré effect is no longer confined to Burkina Faso. It's spreading, and the world is watching. Let's rewind for a moment. Just days ago, shocking footage emerged from Kenya. Footage that rocked social media, disturbed the conscience of every African patriot, and left global watchers stunned. Kenyan police officers, who are supposed to protect the people, were caught assaulting peaceful protesters. Not just any protesters. These were young Kenyans demanding economic justice, demanding dignity, demanding to be heard. Tear gas, live bullets, brutality, arrests. The streets of Nairobi, Kisumu, and Mombasa turned into battlefields, and the cries of the youth echoed across the skies. We are not your enemies. We are your children. We want a better Kenya. But instead of dialogue, the state responded with force. And here's where the story takes a powerful turn. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, all the way from Burkina Faso, made a statement, a powerful one, not with weapons, not with money, but with bold, clear, unapologetic words. He said, and I quote, "An African leader who turns guns on his own youth is no leader. He is a slave to foreign masters. Africa must not kill Africa." The silence that followed was loud. Traoré was not just speaking to Kenya. He was speaking to every African government that has forgotten its people. Every president who rides in convoys while his youth sleep hungry. Every official who signs deals that enrich the West and impoverish the continent. His words hit deep. You see, Traoré's power is not just in his military skills. His greatest weapon is truth. He tells it like it is. No filters, no fear. And that is why he is dangerous. Dangerous to the old system that profits from African division and silence. Dangerous to those who have ruled Africa with lies. But to us, to the people, he is hope. He is courage. He is Africa. What makes this story even more explosive is how the Kenyan youth responded. Instead of backing down, they rose even higher. They started sharing Traoré's speeches. His quotes went viral. Posters with his face appeared in Nairobi, labeled Africa's Lion. Imagine that. A West African president becoming a symbol of resistance in East Africa. This is the unity the West fears. This is the power they cannot control. And it is only the beginning. Now, let's talk about what the Kenyan police were caught doing behind closed doors. Leaked reports show that before the protests escalated, certain foreign security advisors had been flown into Kenya. These so-called advisors were seen meeting high-ranking police officers and discussing crowd control strategies. Eyewitnesses say these advisors were not Kenyan. They spoke in heavy accents, and when things got hot, they vanished, leaving the Kenyan police to take the fall. So ask yourself, who were they? Why were foreign agents involved in Kenya's internal affairs? Why is it that whenever African youth rise, there's always a shadow hand trying to crush it? The same thing happened in Burkina Faso before Traoré took over. Foreign troops, foreign NGOs, foreign advisors, and yet the people lived in poverty. Traoré kicked them out, and now they're trying to stop the fire from spreading, but it's too late. Across the continent, a revolution is underway. In Mali, in Niger, in Senegal, in Congo, now in Kenya. Young people are saying, enough of police brutality. enough of foreign interference, enough of stolen resources, enough of puppets in power. And guess what? Traoré hears them. In fact, in a recent private meeting, sources say he has reached out to leaders in East Africa, urging them to listen to their people, to avoid the mistakes of the past, to build a future that belongs to Africans, not corporations, not colonial powers, not foreign banks. This is historic. A president from the West reaching out to the East, not with a military threat, but with wisdom, humility, and brotherhood. This is the Africa we dream of. This is the Africa we must fight for. Let's pause for a moment and reflect. When was the last time we saw an African president being embraced by youth across borders, not for his wealth, not for his power, but for his truth? Traoré is not rich. He wears military fatigues. He walks with soldiers. He eats with farmers. He speaks in the language of the people. He is not perfect. He is human, but he is real. And in a world full of fakes, that's enough to spark a revolution. Now, let's not be naive. The enemy is watching. Western powers are nervous. They see what's happening. They saw what the Kenyan police did. They know it was a test to see how far they can go before the people snap. But this time, the people didn't just protest. They resisted, they filmed, they exposed, and they connected their struggle to a greater movement, the Pan-African Awakening. Traoré knows this, and that is why his latest message, aimed at both African leaders and African youth, is so important. He said, if you raise your voice against oppression, you are not alone. If you rise with courage, Africa will rise with you. Our borders were drawn by colonizers, but our hearts are united by truth. Let that sink in. This is more than politics. This is a spiritual battle for the soul of Africa. Every time a youth stands up and says, I want a better life, that is a revolutionary act. Every time a mother cries for justice after losing her son to police bullets, that is a revolution in motion. And every time a leader like Traoré speaks truth to power, that is Africa rewriting its own story. So here's the question. Where do you stand? Do you stand with truth? Do you stand with justice? Do you stand with Traoré and the millions who are rising with him? If you do, then this is your time. Comment, Africa must rise. Below if you're ready to stand up for change. Subscribe now. Like this video. Share it with everyone you know, because silence is no longer an option. The time of betrayal is over. This is the era of boldness. In closing, remember this. What happened in Kenya is not just a national issue. It's continental, it's historical, it's revolutionary. The police brutality, the foreign interference, the stolen dreams, all of it is part of a bigger system, a system that is dying. And when systems die, they fight back hard. But they cannot stop the truth. They couldn't stop Traoré in Burkina Faso. They couldn't stop the youth in Nairobi. And they won't stop the spirit of Africa. Because Africa is not weak. Africa is not poor. Africa is not divided. Africa is awakening. Africa is rising. Africa is roaring. And as long as voices like Traoré's continue to echo through the hearts of the youth, no army, no empire, and no oppressor can ever hold us down again. The revolution will not be televised, but it will be realized. So to every young African out there watching this, whether you are in Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Uganda, or Sudan, remember this. You are not alone, we are many, and together we are unstoppable. Like, comment Africa must rise, and subscribe for more. Stand with truth, stand with freedom, stand with Traoré. This is just the beginning.